What you're about to hear isn't casual advice. It's a recalibration, a shift in how you walk, how you speak, how you think. It's a transformation in how you interpret obstacles and command your outcomes. Let me tell you something. Most men never realize until the clock has nearly run out. Your life bends to your assumptions. Not by fate, but by focus, because the way you expect things to unfold is usually how they do. Your dominant thoughts shape your reality. They guide how you act, how you respond, how you persist or retreat. So what if, starting now, you assumed that everything was falling into place for you? Even when it's painful, even when it's silent, even when there's no visible sign. What if you moved like success was inevitable, like the door was already open, and all that was left was for you to step through it? That's not blind optimism. That's mental engineering, and it's the mindset behind every legend who ever walked through adversity. Henry Ford didn't hope the world would believe in the automobile. He acted as if they already did. He built factories while others mocked the dream. Edison didn't fold after his 1000th failed prototype, because he had already decided success was his. He carried it in his mind and moved like it belonged to him. Charles Schwab didn't. Lead with fear, he moved with conviction, so strong it reshaped entire empires. And Andrew Carnegie, he didn't ask, what if this doesn't work? He moved as if the outcome was already secured. That's the energy that builds legacies. So why not you? Why not now? You've spent enough time doubting, enough time hesitating, enough time rehearsing fear. It's time to flip the script, because the version of you that hesitates cannot walk beside the version of you that dominates. You cannot serve two minds. One must die. So today, I hand you a new frame, a new filter, a new standard. Act as if everything is unfolding in your favor, not because it's guaranteed, but because that belief makes you unbreakable. When you assume success is inevitable, you move with courage. You speak with certainty. You stop negotiating with your life and start commanding it. This isn't a motivational moment. This is a reset, a new operating system, and it must be repeated until your subconscious no longer debates it. It accepts it as law, because doubt cannot survive in the presence of your calm. Fear cannot breathe where belief stands firm, and the moment you align with the idea that the outcome is already yours, you eliminate fear at the root. So listen closely. Speak these words aloud. Let them settle in your nervous system like fuel, because what comes next isn't hype, it's a transformation, and by the time we're done here, you won't just think differently. You won't just move differently. You will be different. Let's begin. Warfare isn't chaos. It's the choice to walk through it with unwavering clarity. It's the discipline to carry order inside when the world outside falls apart. Once you decide how this ends, you no longer flinch midway. You act as if the victory is already written, and soon it is, because what the mind accepts, reality begins to reflect. There is one trait, one force, that draws the line between the drifter and the builder. The passive and the purposeful, the man who watches and the man who commands. That trait is definiteness of purpose, a clear, unshakable aim, a target etched so deeply into your mind that even silence can't quiet it, even failure can't shake it, even doubt can't dim it. This isn't a wish, not a midnight list that disappears by dawn. This is purpose, forged in fire, guarded with your life. Without it, your energy scatters. Your time is stolen, your focus hijacked. You chase 10 paths, master none. You start building, then walk away. You confuse movement for momentum, noise for direction. But when you become a man of definite purpose, the world sharpens. The path narrows. You stop waking up asking what the day holds and start commanding it to yield what you've already chosen. That's not motivation, that's transformation. Look at any man who changed the world. Behind every step, There was a decision. Ford didn't dream of wealth. He decided to revolutionize transportation. Schwab didn't dabble. He knew what he came to build. Lincoln didn't drift into history. He made a decision so final, no. Civil War could shake it. You need that now. A line in the sand, a sentence burned into your bones. A sentence your mind orbits every day. So I ask you plainly, do you know your purpose? Not your goals, not your hopes, your reason. Because without it, no system, no strategy, no surge of motivation will last. Your habits will collapse. Your progress will vanish. Your confidence will shatter under pressure. Because what holds it all together is your why. So write it. One sentence, not 10. 1. What must you build before your time here is done? Who must you become? What must you give? What outcome does your life demand? Not because it's easy, but because you've decided it matters more than anything else. That's your purpose, and once you have it, speak it aloud every morning. Write it every night. Don't wait for inspiration. Install it. Make it louder than your doubts. That is the root of all confidence, knowing where you're going. No comparing, no scrolling, no flinching, just forward movement. Every bite of food, every word you speak, every risk you take, it all aligns with one thing, your definite purpose. That clarity grants you spiritual immunity. You no longer envy because you're locked into your own mission. You no longer fear failure because you understand its construction. You no longer need applause because your purpose gives you authority. From that place, decisions become simple. Time bends in your favor. The universe, your mind, your very biology, all align. But without purpose, even the strongest man falls. Even the best habits drift. Even the sharpest minds chase what doesn't matter. So carve the sentence, burn it into your soul. This is not for later. This is not for when life slows down. This is the day you stop moving like a leaf in the wind and start building like a man with orders from within. Say it now, I know my purpose. I follow it without apology. I don't wait for clarity, I generate it. My energy is sacred, my direction is locked in. This is where empires begin, not with noise, but with a decision so final that even time bends to it. If you haven't made that decision, make it now. The clock is still ticking, but your focus hasn't been, and it's time. You have power to build, and none of it begins without purpose. Let this be the moment of no return. Let this be the day the course was set. Let this be today. No man ascends alone. No man becomes unstoppable by remaining in isolation. Discipline may be born in solitude, but momentum is born in connection. There is a force greater than willpower, more enduring than skill or ambition. It is the power of the mastermind, and it begins with this unshakable truth. You become the minds you surround yourself with. Your thoughts are shaped by those you speak with most. Your energy rises or fades based on who stands beside you. Your identity is forged not in theory, but in environment. You might think you're strong enough to carry the mission alone, but pause and ask yourself, who are you really walking with? Who gets your time, your trust, your attention? Because those voices, they're either building you or breaking you. The mastermind is not just a team. It is a mental alliance, a gathering of aligned minds moving with one shared intention: to elevate, not distract. To build, not entertain. To sharpen, not soften. You must seek this or build it. Find men who move with clarity, who don't need reminders of the mission because they embody it. Men who understand the weight of silence and the power of speaking with purpose. When your mind connects to others moving with the same fire, something rare happens. You speed up, you get sharper, ideas multiply, focus deepens, energy compounds. What you couldn't see alone becomes crystal clear together. This isn't theory, this is history's blueprint. Henry Ford didn't build in isolation. He surrounded himself with innovators, engineers, minds of unwavering belief. They didn't always agree, but they aligned. They challenged one another into excellence. Edison operated within a mental network. Ideas passed between obsessed minds, each iteration sharper than the last. Andrew Carnegie credited not luck or capital for his wealth, but the mastermind, a circle that reinforced one vision with many voices. Charles M. Schwab rose not by chance, but by seeking alignment with men whose vision mirrored his own. The mastermind isn't accidental. It's built intentionally, deliberately, and not everyone qualifies. A mastermind excludes the doubters, the gossipers, the comfort chasers, the ones who mock discipline, who wait for permission instead of moving on conviction. Remove them, not out of pride, but as strategy. A single weak voice can dilute your fire. Protecting your mind is not arrogance, it's precision. Here's the law. If you wouldn't trade lives with someone, don't take advice from them. You don't owe. You're focused to confusion. You're here to build something clearer, stronger, higher. So what do? You form your mastermind by choice. Start with one aligned mind, one voice that sharpens yours, then another and another, until your circle becomes a system. Until your structure is so tight, so aligned, that failure becomes difficult. Meet weekly. Speak with intention. Share bold goals. Hold each other to the fire of high standards. Banish soft language. Replace maybe with I will. Replace someday with now. And if you haven't found this circle yet, be it. Be the standard. Speak with authority, move with conviction, and you'll see others will rise to meet you or fall away. Don't seek approval. Don't chase people who are committed to drifting. Just build, just move, just live aligned, because this isn't about comfort. It's about alignment and power. When your sharp mind meets another with equal intensity, the laws of success bend, the path clears, the noise fades. This is the hidden power of the mastermind, the power to multiply your mission. So ask yourself now, who must I align with? Who must I release? And who must I become to attract the minds I seek? Because one aligned conversation can unlock your future, and one careless one can steal it. Choose wisely. Not manipulation, not flattery, not empty charisma, but a cultivated presence. A presence that opens doors, earns trust, and inspires confidence without having to demand it. Because here is the truth. Power without influence is wasted potential. And the man who cannot inspire others to move with him will always move alone, and slowly. This is why presence matters. This is why energy matters. Not in some abstract way, but in the real-world results it creates. Every room you walk into is reading you before you speak. Every team you lead is watching how you carry yourself before they follow your command. And every opportunity, yes, every one, is scanning for certainty. Certainty in your posture, certainty in your tone, certainty in your identity, because people do not follow what you say, they follow what you embody. They don't respond to titles, they respond to truth. Not the truth you speak, but the one you live. So you must train not only your skill, not only your mind, but your presence. You must become the kind of man who doesn't just know where he's going, but communicates that direction without needing to say a word. This is what we call executive energy, command presence, earned confidence, and it's built, not inherited, refined, not assumed. Andrew Carnegie, Ford, Lincoln, they didn't rise by overpowering people. They rose because others trusted their leadership. And trust is the currency of every great mission. So ask yourself, are people drawn to your vision or confused by your presence? Do you speak with conviction or just volume? Does your presence inspire action or stall it? Because here's what most men don't understand. You don't need to control people to influence them. You need to align with something greater than yourself and communicate it so clearly, so consistently, that others feel compelled to rise with you. And that begins with emotional discipline, the ability to control your tone when things go sideways, to speak life when others are spiraling, to hold the standard when no one's watching. This is not softness, it's strength under control. The man who loses his temper loses his influence. The man who needs to dominate loses respect. But the man who can walk into a room and elevate the energy without saying a word, he's the one others want to follow. So how do you cultivate that? You master your communication. You slow your speech. You raise your standards. You stop explaining yourself to people who aren't building with you, and you learn to listen, not to react, but to lead, to understand, to direct. Because influence isn't about being liked. It's about being respected, trusted, followed. The man who combines fire with stillness, certainty with humility, power with clarity. That man becomes magnetic. He doesn't chase attention. He commands it, not because he's loud, but because he lives aligned. And that alignment is felt. It's seen. It's remembered. In every interaction, you're building your reputation, whether you realize it or not. So make this your rule. Every room I enter, I elevate. Every team I lead, I sharpen. Every conversation I have, I bring clarity. You don't need a crowd. You need consistency, because when your presence matches your performance and your intention matches your impact, you become unstoppable. Opportunities open. Doors swing wide and the mission moves faster, not because you forced it, but because your alignment made it inevitable. So don't just ask what to do. Ask, who am I when I do it? Don't just train your mind, train your presence, because the most powerful weapon in any room is not the man with the most volume, but the one with the most alignment. And when you walk with that, when your energy precedes you, when your standard speaks louder than your words, you no longer need to convince the world. The world will follow. I ask what I can contribute. I give more, not because it's easy, but because it's who I am. And when that mindset is locked in, when that becomes your standard, you step into a new category of man, one who cannot be replaced, one who cannot be ignored. This is the real difference maker, not talent, not resources, not connections. It's the habit of exceeding expectations so consistently that the world has no choice but to respond. Most men wait for recognition before they raise their output, but the builder, the one who rises, he raises his output and trusts that recognition will catch up. And it always does. But here's the deeper truth. The reward isn't just external, it's internal. Because when you give more, you become more. You walk taller, you think clearer. You stop negotiating with mediocrity because you know what you're worth, not in theory, but in action. Let that sink in. You don't become valuable by demanding more. You become valuable by becoming someone of undeniable worth. And that worth is built day by day, in silence, in sweat, in standards no one else will hold for you. Andrew Carnegie understood this. He wasn't waiting for someone to crown him with greatness. He crowned himself with discipline, with initiative, with the mindset that said, I will give more now and let the return take care of itself. That is the law of increasing returns in action. Give more than you are paid to give. Do more than anyone expects. Stay later. Think deeper. Care harder. And eventually, inevitably, the compound effect of that discipline will put you in rooms most men will never enter. But let me give you a warning. This path isn't crowded because most people are obsessed with immediate payoff. They want results without resistance. They want praise without preparation. They want status without sacrifice. That's why the extra mile is so empty. But that's also why it's so powerful. If you can learn to live there, to find joy in giving your best when no one's watching, you'll gain something few ever touch. Personal power. Not the kind that brags, not the kind that needs validation, the kind that moves silently but shifts everything it touches. That kind of man becomes a force, because while others are busy checking out, he checks in. While they complain, he creates. While they delay, he decides. That's what sets him apart. Not just effort, consistency of effort, not just work, intelligent work done from a higher standard. You must build that into your bones. So when the world tempts you to relax, you rise. When it offers comfort, you choose growth. When it hands you excuses, you return with execution. And make no mistake, you will be tested. There will be days where no one notices, days where you wonder if it's worth it, but those are the days that separate you, because how you act when the reward is invisible is what determines how long you'll last once the spotlight finally arrives. You must lead yourself before anyone else will trust you to lead them. You must outperform your role before anyone will promote you beyond it, and you must develop discipline that doesn't depend on applause. So here is your daily declaration. I outwork my excuses. I exceed every expectation. I move like I'm already where I'm going. Say it again, live it again, because this mindset, repeated, becomes your identity. And once that identity is installed, you won't need motivation. You'll become the motive. You'll no longer ask, what can I get away with? You'll ask, what else can I give? And that shift, that internal evolution, is the root of every transformation worth having. Look at Edison. Look at Ford. Look at Carnegie. They weren't perfect, but they practiced one habit religiously. They always delivered more than expected, not because someone asked, but because they had decided who they were, and that decision created their destiny. So now, the question falls to you. Will you wait to be told what to do? Or will you rise beyond the minimum and install your own standard? Because the man who chooses excellence without instruction will soon be giving instruction. And the man who trains himself to give his best in silence will one day find the world echoing his name, not for what he demanded, but for what he gave. I give more because that's who I am. I don't exceed expectations for recognition. I do it because that's where uncommon men are made. And let that truth settle into your bones, because the man who adopts this mindset never stays small for long. Now let me remind you of something you already suspect deep down. Hearing this once won't change your life. You cannot override years of doubt and hesitation with a single surge of inspiration. You can't delete a lifetime of limiting beliefs with one motivational spike. Why? Because your subconscious doesn't respond to hype. It responds to repetition. It doesn't install new patterns through intensity, but through consistency. If the dominant message running in the background of your mind is hesitation, that will shape your life no matter what you consciously want. But if you consistently feed your mind with clarity, conviction, and direction, eventually the old voice loses power. Not by force, but by frequency. That's why this isn't just a video. It's a daily ritual. It's not motivation. It's programming. Repetition is the language of the subconscious, and the strongest loop always wins. You don't break old programming by trying harder. You break it by installing something stronger. So how do you reprogram? You don't just watch, you absorb. You speak the truth aloud. You memorize the lines that strike something in you. You repeat them in the face of resistance. You hear the message daily, not because you're weak, but because you understand that transformation doesn't happen by accident. It happens by design. This is not about entertainment. This is about identity reinforcement. You're not here to feel better for a moment. You're here to evolve into someone new. Try this. Close your eyes and say this with intention. I act without hesitation. I speak with clarity. I lead with certainty. I am becoming the man I was meant to be. Feel that shift? That's not imaginary. That's neural realignment. And when you do it not once, but for 90 straight days, you're not just saying words. You're building a new default setting. Say it once and it's inspiration. Say it daily and it becomes your reality. Because what you repeat, you become. What you focus on, you reinforce. So don't let this be something you play once and forget. Treat it like a gym for your mind. Let it be your morning warm-up. Let it shape the tone of your day. And if anyone asks why you keep coming back to the same message, you tell them this: because I'm not trying to feel good. I'm building someone new. Your mind is always programmable. The question is, who's doing the programming? From now on, the answer is you. So hit replay. Speak the truth with energy. Walk through your life like it's already shifting in your favor, because it is. Every time you rehearse certainty, you strip power away from fear. So let's end this with the posture of someone transformed. You've listened. You've absorbed. Now it's time to walk like the man who's already become what he used to chase. Not like someone trying to prove, but like someone who knows. From this moment forward, you walk differently. You walk into the gym like the change already happened. You enter your work with the presence of someone already rising. You make choices, as if success is already unfolding behind the scenes, because it is. Faith is not passive. Faith moves. Faith builds. Faith takes the next step, as if the outcome is guaranteed, and that's not arrogance, that's alignment. Before you close this message, say this out loud: spine tall, shoulders square, eyes focused. I am not afraid. I act without hesitation. Everything is aligning in my favor, and I move like it. Say it again, slower, with conviction. I am not afraid. I act without hesitation. Everything is aligning in my favor, and I move like it. That is your anchor now. You don't need applause. You don't need agreement. You don't need anyone to understand your fire. You just need to continue, because the world doesn't respond to the man who waits. It rewards the man who walks forward with certainty. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your evolution. You don't need permission to advance. You are the permission. You are the momentum. You are the moment. So from this day forward, move like it. Speak like it. Think like it. Wake up like success is chasing you, because it is. You're not hoping for a breakthrough. You are the breakthrough. And every step you take reflects that. Let them wonder what changed. Let them feel the shift in your presence. Let your silence say what words can't. Not because you have nothing to say, but because you no longer waste energy trying to convince anyone. You've done the mental reps. Now walk it out. Every conversation, every decision, every new day. Approach it from the man you've already become, and if the old version ever tries to return, you know what to do. Come back here, press play, and remind yourself of who you really are. This isn't a moment of motivation. This is a permanent installation, and you don't just listen to it, you live it, you rehearse it, you become it.